Hey YouTube, how's it going? The RetroNatics back again. I'm your host, Jose.
And I'm your co-host, Javier.
Alright man, so tonight what we want to talk about real quick, what we did this weekend is we attended the PAX South 2018, that's the Penny Arcade Expo here in San Antonio. Why don't you go ahead and kick us off, man?
Okay, well the PAX, it stands for Penny Arcade Expo, as you explained. It happens every year in San Antonio and quite a few places as well, but San Antonio has actually celebrated it for the past 3 years, ever since 2015, I believe. But it's basically just a convention of video game related stuff. It actually has a lot of indie video games, PC games, console games, and arcade games as well as tabletop. There's a huge area for tabletop. But as stated, it's a yearly convention. Fans can just show up and take a look at the latest video games coming out. If you ever go to one of these conventions, huge crowds. This was no different this year. There was pretty much a line for every single booth, for anyone that wanted to play certain video games. To me, having been to PAX for the past 3 years, I noticed that it was kind of consolidated a little bit. In every year that PAX has come out, there's actually the opportunity to meet video game developers. Jose, I believe this was your first time this year going to the Arcade Expo. Let me know what you thought about it. Yeah,
it was my first time, and as we said when we were actually out there on the floor, definitely the place for sensory overload. For me, everything was new. It was just, there was bright lights everywhere. There was tons of people. There was so much going on, so much to look at, so much to take in. I don't know, it was crazy, but I did like it. As soon as we walked in there, or I should say as soon as I walked in, because we met each other there, two things I noticed right away was the Lego stand, or the Lego table, with a really cool Minecraft character built up already on top of it. And then also was the Capcom store, which is where I bought you that collectible figurine of the Ryu statue in a blue outfit. I don't know if the blue outfit is something significant. I did notice that in a lot of gameplay, I think he's always in white.
I know that we got to see a lot of people in cosplay as well.
Yes. Unfortunately, we missed Cuphead. There was a couple there who was dressed up precisely like Cuphead. Their outfits look great. When Javier finally caught up to me at PAX, though, we went walking around the floor like 2 times looking for these people, and we could not find them because we specifically wanted a photo with them just for our RetroNatics page, but it just wasn't meant to be, I guess.
But that's okay, though. We actually did find a few photos of some of the events, or actually some of the booths there. We had our favorites local to San Antonio. I believe that Game Over Video Games is local to San Antonio. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but Redbox was there. Quite a few people just, selling their wares and stuff. It's a very video game themed convention, and I almost picked up another Mega Man thing. Mega Man's my big deal. I really love the video games and stuff, but my girlfriend actually got me like a not a necklace, but what are those things called?
Was it a lanyard?
Lanyard, yeah, exactly. So she got me one of those, and I think you were looking at the backpacks as well.
I was looking at some of the backpacks, but the one thing I really wanted was this fleece blanket, which was a Pulp Fiction theme on it. Basically, when you spread out the blanket, it was just kind of like the faces. They're not filled in. It was like I guess the silhouette of them or something. Like right. You could only tell by the hairstyle who the person was, and that was like my favorite thing there. But for my budget, it was just a little too much money, and I figured, well, I'll just look for it later and hopefully find it for cheaper.
And there were 3 levels. This was at the Henry B. Gonzalez Center in San Antonio, and I don't believe that you got a chance to take a look at it when you were first taking a look at the convention.
Right.
But we got a chance to take a look at the arcade cabinet area. There's just a room full of old school arcade cabinets, which we basically had a chance to play 1 or 2 video games. In previous years, it wasn't as busy, but that's something that I don't miss about like the old school days is waiting in line for an arcade cabinet, and that's pretty much what you had to do. It's reminiscent of those times, and luckily we're in an age where we can actually just download our older arcade games and play it on our Xbox or PlayStation and not have to worry about those lines. But hey, it gave us a blast from the past here, I guess.
Even back when I went to arcades when I was a kid, even at their busiest times, I never remember them being that busy as what it was at PAX. It was insane the amount of people that were crowded into that little room. There was a vendor out there who had a bunch of PlayStation 2 games out there for sale. And so many of them, I was surprised that they were still brand new, sealed in their original packaging. I don't know if they're really as valuable as what he was pricing them. I think I want to say they started at like $30 and may have gone up from there. I suppose if it's what you really want, that you really want a game there and brand new, that, yeah, go for it. But I mean, PS2, I didn't really play PS2 even in its heyday. So I did like the BYOC area, the bring your own computer. It was basically folks brought in obviously their own computers. They set up and they did some LAN gaming there. I could not. The security guys wouldn't let me in to take photographs. I don't know why. He told me it was for security reasons. Even though the area was open, you could actually see them anyway. Everyone could see the computers, but for some reason you couldn't walk through and just take photos unless you were press. I tried and snap a few photos of some boxes I saw that looked pretty unique to me. And of course there were so many out there, man. They looked really awesome. It's amazing what people can do with PCs.
Yeah, and I don't know if you actually had a chance to take a look at the tabletop area, but I'd say from the previous years that actually exploded into like a bigger area. And unfortunately, I'm not into that right now. I've tried one or two games recently. I think that we tried maybe a year or two ago going to a place where they actually had tabletop games. But if I was into that, that would have been like, I would have been in hog heaven in that area because they've got so many tables for that set up, such a huge community for that. And they've even got an area for people that just want to paint their little figurines or their models and stuff for their games.
I think this new year I probably would like to learn some more about it because when we were there I saw a lot of groups playing Star Wars X-Wing miniature, the miniature game or something like that. They were playing this game. It looked like a lot of fun. I'm sure there's a lot of strategy and thought that has to go into it. I mean, I don't think it's something I could just pick up and know right away, but I would like to learn it and like to do it. There was a guy dressed as an X-Wing pilot there, sitting there playing this game, and it just looked like a lot of fun. There were guys just, doing all sorts of crazy things, taking measurements with their little ruler and stuff on some things, and another group was having to call out for a judge to come in and make a decision for them because, I don't know, I guess a guy had done a move or something. They weren't quite sure if it was legal or not. I don't know. I'm sure they knew tons about it more than I do, but it looked like a lot of fun. I wish I could be involved in that.
I remember in previous years looking at the actual board games available, and they had your Ghostbusters video game, they had your Aliens versus Predator, they had your Star Wars, of course, all your favorites. I think even a Back to the Future one, but again, that's one of those things that that'll pull you in if you're definitely into retro. You'll find a board game out there for you. Like you said, this year that would be a great year to start maybe learning one of these games and really getting into it.
So many vendors out there, man. One that was impressive was Wormwood. They supplied gaming accessories, I think like dice and little organizers, stuff like that. They did have on display 2 gaming tables, which I absolutely loved. I mean, they were too big, though, for my man cave here that we're sitting in. And I want to say that maybe their cheapest table started at about $4,500 or so. And it goes up astronomically once you start tacking on a lot of add-ons to the table as well. Another thing we saw out there, like you mentioned earlier, the cosplayers. Probably our favorite out there was Tiffany Gordon. She was out there dressed as a character from Overwatch. It was a really cool outfit, man. I mean, the wings, she had that guy walking around with her he had the remote control pack to operate the wings on her, and he did demo it for us real quick. He said he couldn't do it for too long or something because they tended to overheat. Kind of a strange flaw, but I was like, hey, cool, whatever, we just want to see something real quick, want to see what they could do. But that was pretty cool.
And what better way to promote that video game? I've seen so many videos for this game over the past, 2 years maybe?
Oh, yeah.
And it's one of those things that I still have yet to play, but what better way to advertise it than its fans? It's cosplay fans. We're not, capturing all of the cosplayers out there as well. I mean, we did see our Marios, our classic retro people out there and stuff. Like a lot of these characters we were trying to take a look at and, okay, what game is that from, So there's plenty out there that us older retro fans may not know too much about, but, we're glad to see fans out there really celebrating.
One game that kind of really stood out to me was Monster Hunter World. And, of course, we saw the giant dragon at the booth. And I didn't really know what that was at the time. I thought maybe it was another board game or something like that. While I was at work, I saw the trailer for it. And dude, that game looks amazing. And I am totally going to pick up that game when it comes out. I mean, It just looks really good, man.
I know that Monster Hunter. Okay, you might need to correct me, fans or yourself, later on. But I think it came out on the PlayStation Portable handheld console quite a few years ago, probably a decade ago. But ever since I've seen videos of that, trailers for that, I always thought that it was kind of a unique looking series and stuff. It's one of those game series that I've kind of wanted to take a look at, but I wasn't sure if they actually had anything available for what I had at the time. I had the DS, and I've been an Xbox console owner for years and stuff.
So that was PAX South 2018 this past weekend. I'm sure we probably didn't cover everything. There's just way too much to cover. I've seen a couple of other YouTubers who post videos of walkthroughs of the grounds. Look pretty cool. I mean, just way too much to see. It's one of those events you really gotta attend it in order to get a better understanding of it. But it was a lot of fun, and I definitely want to go back next year. I can't say that I would probably go year after year after year, as I'm sure there are a lot of people who do that. But I would definitely attend more than one time.
Definitely, it's something I could probably try out for a couple more years, and maybe get into more of what they actually have as far as the tabletop. If we start really getting into that, maybe we'll start getting more into PAX as well.
Yeah,
in
definitely.
future conventions and stuff. But you'll always have a fun time going anyway. Even if you're new to it, if you've been to a couple of them, there's always something to see for everybody. But yeah, I'd definitely go again.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's our coverage of PAX South 2018, and if you got to check it out too, if you were in San Antonio and you went, let us know what you thought about it in the comments down below. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and we will be bringing you some new content here pretty soon. But thank you for watching.
Have a good one.